Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I wanted to do the rapid fire book tag. This tag was originally created by a girl reading like a really long time ago, but I saw Chantel at An Intentional Life do this tag sometime last year, and she did the tag herself, and then she sat down and did it with her husband. And so he was trying to guess what her answers were. And I thought that sounded super fun. My husband hasn't really ever been on my channel at all, I don't think. So I am excited to do this tag and include him and see how well he knows my bookish preferences. So question number one is ebook or physical book? And this one's super easy. You have seen my bookshelves. Physical book 100% all the way. Question number two is paperback or hardcover. I love how hardcovers look on the shelf, and I love like hardcover collector's editions. But for reading, my preference is like the big floppy paperbacks. Question number three is online or in-person book shopping. I would say if I'm buying new, probably online, but I thrift most of my books. And so I love thrift stores, obviously. So for that, that's all pretty much in person. Question number three, trilogies or series? I think I prefer trilogies. Series sometimes can be a bit long-winded, and you have books that just drag on and on and on. But then I think that there are some books that should have been standalones because it felt like they were trying too hard to make it into a trilogy. So but between the two, I think I prefer a trilogy. Question number five is heroes or villains? I love a good like good versus evil kind of deal, but I really love it when villains are kind of a bit more morally gray, that they have some sort of backstory as to why they are the way that they are, and the decisions that they're making aren't as clear-cut. They're a little more nuanced than you might have originally thought. Question number six, a book you want everyone to read. I just read this book in May, and so I'm going with Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. I think that this book has so much value to offer whether you're a Christian or not. Particularly, the book is split up into 4 parts, particularly the first part. I think that it does just such a wonderful job of describing morality and Christianity and all those kinds of things. I think it's very relevant for everyone, regardless of your faith. Question number 7 is recommend an underrated book. This is a hard one for me because a lesser known book is not the same as an underrated book. So I was looking at some books that I have enjoyed on Goodreads to see what some ratings were of some books that I felt like were a little maybe lesser known. So I'm going to recommend a book that I've actually talked about quite a bit recently, and that's Just Ella by Margaret Peterson Haddix. This is a fairy tale retelling of Cinderella, and it's after the ball and after the prince comes and gets her. This only has a rating of 3.75 on Goodreads, and I thought it was really good, so I'll recommend that one. If you like fairy tale retellings, I think you'd really like Just Ella. Question number 8 is the last book you finished. That would be Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. When my husband does this with me, I don't know exactly when we'll be recording it, so his answer may be different on this one than what my answer was. Question number 9 is last book that you bought. So I have a book haul video from one that I did recently, and there's a lot of books in it that I recently bought. The book outlet order that had these Macmillan Collector Library Edition books in it was the last book order that I placed, so we're gonna go with these. Question number 10 is the weirdest thing you have used as a bookmark, and I don't really use weird bookmarks for the most part. I just grab like whatever piece of paper or receipt or whatever is handy. My daughter was the best at weird bookmarks. I have a whole highlight on my Instagram page about it, and I think my favorite that she used as a bookmark was a banana in its peel. Question number 11, used books, yes or no? Heck yes. Question number 12, top 3 genres. So we'll go with classics middle grade, and fantasy. Question number 13 is borrow or buy. I do like to purchase books, obviously, but I don't like to pay full price, so I really love borrowing from the library. Question number 14, characters or plot? 10,000% characters. If I am reading a fast-paced, plot-based book and I don't care about the characters, I just am gonna be annoyed the whole time. Question number 15, long or short books? Long books, always. Question number 16, long or short chapters? Short chapters, because it's easier to find stopping points, that I don't get lost on the page and forget exactly where it was I stopped. Question number 17, name the first 3 books that you think of. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, The Cost of Discipleship by Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and A Gentleman in Moscow. That was really random. I don't see any way that my husband could possibly guess the 3 that I said. Guess we'll find out. Number 18, books that make you laugh or books that make you cry? Books that make me cry. Pretty much always. I love books that make me cry. Sometimes my husband will come in when I have finished a very emotional book and I'm crying. And he's like, why do you do this to yourself? And I'm like, but it's so good. So it's very rare for me to find a book that will actually make me laugh at all, much less laugh out loud. If I can find a book that does both, then it's a really, really good book. Question number 19, our world or fictional worlds? I'm really not sure. I guess I'm gonna go with our world because I read a lot of classics and they all take place in our world. So I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily have a preference though. Question number 20, audiobooks, yes or no? And my answer is sometimes, but not usually. That's a really controversial booktube opinion. I listened to a ton of audiobooks last month because I was so busy and we were packing and I didn't have time to sit down and read. But if I'm being honest, 90% of the time I really do not like audiobooks. I'm very picky about my narrators and I just don't like sitting there and listening to books. I would rather have the experience of opening a book and reading it with my eyes, which is the same reason why I don't prefer ebooks to physical books. I also listen to audiobooks a lot when I'm multitasking and doing lots of other things, and it's easy for me to miss a lot of things when I'm reading them. So they're harder for me to focus on. So while I have listened to some good audiobooks within the last couple of months, I really think that I would have liked them more if I read them physically. I think some of that can come down to like your learning style too, because some people are more audio learners or kinesthetic learners. So for them to be hearing something while they're doing something else is more effective for them. But I'm highly a visual learner. So I think that that is part of the reason why I don't enjoy audiobooks very much. So sorry for my controversial audiobook opinion. Don't hate me, don't unsubscribe. Question number 21, do you ever judge a book by its cover? I wish I could say no, but the answer is definitely yes. I have a lot of books that I have seen at thrift stores and I'm like, that's weird. And then someone else talks about it and I'm like, oh, I saw that and that sounds really good, but yeah. Totally, sometimes it's really hard for me to get past cheesy covers. Here's an example. I got this at a thrift store, The Wizard of Earthsea. And I was just like, this is like a very dated cover. I prefer covers that are like classic or more plain. So yeah, this is a book that I normally would have passed up if I hadn't already known that it was a really good book and been on the lookout for it. Question number 2, book to movie or book to TV show adaptation? If I'm being totally honest, my answer is neither. I almost always hate any adaptation. There are exceptions, but for the most part, I really don't love adaptations. I tend to criticize all the things that they changed. So, but if I'm choosing between the two, I would probably choose a movie adaptation. Question number 23, a movie or TV show that you preferred to its book. So I told you there are exceptions. I have 2 notable exceptions. One is The Wizard of Oz, and the other one is The Princess Bride. The Princess Bride book was fairly similar, but I still think that the movie was just a little bit better. And the last question, question number 24, a series or standalone? Overall, I would say I do prefer series because I really like spending a lot of time with characters, but there are some authors that it almost feels like a cash grab, their series, like they're just trying to make more money and that they didn't have this whole plot arc in their head before they started. They just like, their book was popular and they realized they could make more money from it, so they wrote sequels that were not very necessary or even as good as the first one. However, someone like Brandon Sanderson thinks out his whole plot beforehand. When you get to the end, you see how every little intricate detail had been plotted out from the very beginning. So if an author is doing a good job and already has the plot arc already planned out, I prefer a series. I have a feeling I was supposed to answer these questions really quickly since it's a rapid fire book tag, but I'm kind of a verbose person, so I feel like I can't just give a fast answer. I have to give a reason why. So those are my answers for the rapid fire book tag, and I will be back probably within like a week or two with a video with my husband doing this with me and him trying to guess what my answers were. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below as to whether or not you agreed or disagree with some of my answers. Probably everyone disagrees with my audiobook answer, but that's okay. I have some strong and unpopular opinions at times. If you have done this tag or you end up doing this tag, please let me know in the comments because I would love to go watch your video to see what your answers were. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.